this video, we'll look at the physical reasons behind accidents that occur in grain silos, because some accidents happen in just a few seconds. Every year, dozens of workers worldwide lose their lives in grain silos, and most of these accidents occur in less than 10 seconds. The purpose of this video is not to tell you a terrible story. Instead, it's prepared to help you understand, in terms of the laws of physics, why a grain silo can be so deadly. Because these accidents are horrific but preventable. To prevent them, we must first understand them. If you're ready, let's begin. Section 1. What is a grain silo? A grain silo is a giant steel or concrete structure where grains like wheat, corn, and barley are stored. Most are 15 to 30 meters high and hold thousands of tons of grain. What you see inside looks like a stationary pile of grain, but in reality, the grain particles are constantly in motion, especially when the silo is being emptied. And this is where the real danger begins. Because grain, though it appears to be a solid substance, behaves like a liquid under certain conditions. This phenomenon is called fluidization in science. Section 2. Why does grain behave like a liquid? Normally, grain particles stick to each other through friction force. The spaces between them are filled with air and the structure is relatively stable. But this balance breaks down in two situations. When the silo is being emptied. When the exit hatch at the bottom of the silo is opened, the grain starts moving downward. This movement reduces the friction between particles, and the grain stops being solid and starts flowing like a liquid. Think, just as sand flows when you turn an hourglass upside down, grain flows the same way. But the amount in an hourglass is milliliters. Here we're talking about tons of material. When grain bridges, sometimes grain particles interlock and form a bridge in the middle of the silo. A void remains underneath. When a worker enters to break this bridge, the bridge suddenly collapses, and the worker is buried under tons of grain flowing like a liquid. Section 3. What happens in 10 seconds? Now imagine you're a worker inside the silo. The silo has started being emptied, or a grain bridge has collapsed. 0 to 3 seconds. The grain under your feet suddenly starts moving. You lose your balance. Grain wraps around your ankles. 3 to 6 seconds. Grain reaches your knees. You can no longer move, because on each of your legs, the weight of tons of grain presses down. Lifting one leg requires approximately 300 kilograms of force, far beyond human strength. 6 to 10 seconds. Grain reaches your waist. Your lungs are compressed. You can't breathe, and movement becomes completely impossible. During this process, if you panic and struggle, you get buried even faster, because your movements make the grain around you even more fluid. Section 4. Vacuum effect and the rescue problem. So why do so many rescue attempts fail? Vacuum effect. Grain wraps around every part of your body, your feet, legs, every centimeter of your torso, and it sticks tightly. The force required to pull a person out of grain is approximately 1 to 2 tons. The reason? The weight of the grain. Friction between particles. Vacuum pressure formed around the body. A few people pulling by hand is not enough. Even a winch may not be sufficient, because there's a risk of tearing the body apart. The most effective rescue method, place a cylinder around the person and empty the grain inside it. But this also takes time, and in most cases, there is no time. Section 5. Why does it keep happening? These accidents are not new. They're a known danger for decades. So why do they still happen? Routine maintenance pressure. When grain bridges or clogs in silos, production stops. And when production stops, money is lost. So workers enter the silo for a quick fix. Safety procedures are skipped. It won't happen to me. Perception. Most workers underestimate this danger. I've been doing this for years, nothing has ever happened, they say. Until one day the bridge collapses. Neglect of technical safety measures. No one should enter while the silo is being emptied. If entry is necessary, safety harnesses and rope systems must be used. Grain levels should be monitored. Bridging should be broken with mechanical methods, not human force, but these rules are often ignored under time and cost pressure. Conclusion. Grain silo accidents are not natural disasters. They're a predictable consequence of the laws of physics. Though grain appears to be a solid substance, when conditions change, it behaves like a liquid. And this behavior is not something the human body can withstand. 10 seconds. Enough time for a person to be completely buried. But the real tragedy is this. Almost all of these are preventable. Proper training, proper equipment, proper procedures. This video wasn't made to scare you. It was made for you to understand. Because when you understand why something is dangerous, you're more likely to take it seriously. And maybe one day these accidents will be completely a thing of the past. If you want me to analyze real-life accidents like this, how they happen and why they occur, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and support by liking the video. Stay safe.